The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
Good evening this morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Monday the 10th of November 2025 and you are Una Hasty Greene. Yeah, that's my name for today. Una Hasty Greene. Why? Because we're talking about taxi cab drivers, taxi cab union and all things taxi. Well, not all things taxi, but we're talking what's in the news today, and surely taxi cab union and the taxi drivers were in the news. They're in the news today. They were the news yesterday, and they've been in the news last week. Special shout out, all Miami Dolphin fans, big up yourself. I don't know, has it been 185 years since we beat the Bills? Producer? It don't matter, this is my Super Bowl. Take it, claim it as your Super Bowl before they try to arrest Tyreek Hill before another game. He out for the season? And we still won the game? Miami Dolphins, their Bills. I don't know what happened to y'all. I sad for y'all. And I got one Cowboys fan out there by the name of Arthur Seymour. I don't know. I just feel like the Dolphins beating the Bills, it's like they beat the Cowboys at the same time anyway. Right? So Cowboys, y'all feel this one too. Y'all feel this one too. Good morning. Welcome to On the Clock. Let me remind you guys of the Loyalist Charles Farquharson Will Competition 2025, open to junior and high school students throughout the archipelago. To win the prize, 2 pieces of information: the government recording record for Loyalist Charles Farquharson's will. That's the government recording record for Loyalist Charles Farquharson's will, and the recorded date of his death. The recorded date of Loyalist's death. Also, I remind you guys, I'm running a t-shirt and magazine donation campaign. It's a recycling campaign, so I'm looking for donations, old t-shirts and magazines, old t-shirts and magazines. You can message Erin Greene on Facebook, and then you get drop-off instructions, or we arrange pickup. Thank you kindly. Also, yesterday was the day of the National Remembrance Day service. And I just want to remind us that, like hope, memory is also a weapon that can be wielded against us. Yeah. I don't think you're supposed to say Happy National Remembrance Day. In fact, I'm going to bring a couple of historians on so we could question what exactly are we remembering on National Remembrance Day. Like I said, there's lots in the news. I don't have all the news because I'm in one little tiny corner of New Providence. So if you have some news, you could share it here. 323-6232. That's 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4316. 325-4259. That's 325-242-300-5720. That's 242-300-5720. Text line, as always, powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Caller, I see you. Give me 3 seconds. So here's some of the headlines I pulled together before we delve into the newspaper's headlines. Man killed in accident off TWD Highway. BNU chief expresses concerns over retention as 50 nurses have left over last 4 months. Taxi drivers protest Also, BTCU wants portion of recall taxi plates allocated to Union, that's the Guardian, and then taxi chief 800 plate recall, kind of ironic. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning, Miss Greene. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Wait a minute. Okay, National Remembrance Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Know what the day is for?
Tell me.
Remember when our light bill was below $1,000 a month?
Ah.
KFC was $2.99. 2-piece chicken, bread, and drink.
Mm-hmm.
That's Remembrance Day is. I remember when that light bill was below $1,000.
Yeah, I'm too young. I'm too young to remember when light bills were not equal to or more than one's mortgage or rent payment.
Are you crying just thinking about those days?
Yeah. These are things that we should not forget. They're very important for us to remember, especially the young people. We need to tell the young people so they could remember why the old people so upset. Sometimes they have no idea why we upset, because we just assume that everybody remembers the same thing that we do. Thank you, caller.
Well,
Thank you. Let's go to the next caller. Okay, here we go. Good morning, caller.
Okay.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. That's the best news right here in that song you just play.
The Miami Dolphins, hey, there's something.
That's right.
Super Bowl Sunday.
You ready for Super Bowl?
I mean, that was, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have to. I mean, we could win the Super Bowl. That would be nice. But I have a feeling like beating the Bills is better than winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, man, that was a Super Bowl game, you know.
Yeah.
That was a Super Bowl game right there.
Exciting.
Exciting. How they beat the Bills.
Tell me.
You know, everybody expecting them. Miami was an underdog in that game.
Of course. I mean, Miami is the underdog in every game.
Yeah, but the one I watched last night was a puppy. And we was able to come out of puppy and turn them into puppies.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Little baby bison.
Mm-hmm. You tell me what's in the news.
Yeah, tell me.
Well, I get a by-election in the news, eh?
Yes, by-election is in the news, and politics is also in the news. Fox's office vandalized and robbed again. Also, let me ask you a quick question, Pumpkin Eater, before we move on. Did you see Rick Fox's latest social media post critiquing or exploring the by-election in Golden Isles?
I glimpsed it. I try to figure if he's running, though.
Well, I get that's something, hey, that is the question. Do you...
I be hearing from my source as a Bush journalist that he's running, but he ain't come out and said it yet. That would add flavor to the by-election. I mean, not a by-election, but add flavor to the general election.
What type of flavor the general election need, though, Pumpkin Eater?
Oh, man.
Tell me. I mean, by being serious. Hold on. The thing was already exciting, right? You got Kalani, which I think is the most sought after and exciting seat, well, one of, in the entire archipelago, right? You got Minnis, who has not decided whether he's running independent or not. I don't know if Minnis is in the process of forming another party. Right? I don't know if he's waiting to see who the PLP rejects.
He's running independent.
You don't? Okay, but you think he could be running independent of the FNM, but still as a part of a party network?
No, he's running independent as a sort of. This probably no sense he ran as an FNM. It's really disrespect as an FNM.
Well, he can't get the nomination. He can't run as an FNM because he won't get any nomination.
No, he won't. I mean, that's clear.
Yeah.
That's very clear. But he's thinking like an FNM, though. Get that thinking out of his mind.
Why?
That he's running independent.
What if FNM thinking was successful, though?
What about Adrian, who they complain about wiping his feet on the PRP sign poster?
Okay, so I didn't take that story down, but let's just talk about it quickly, right?
I like that humor.
Bahamians, okay, the article suggested that the article states that it is being suggested, or the audience is left to imply, that Adrian White is a racist because he was mashing his foot down on the campaign poster.
No, he's not a racist. No.
Well, I mean,
Adrian, no type of race. Adrian didn't see a black nature inside of him.
I don't know if I'd say that, but we do know
That's what he said. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can tell you what, we've been in the bush parking and picking fruit and running and hiding and throwing rock at each other for years. So I believe that, right? Like if he got that black nature inside him, I get that part. But the thing I wanted to add to the conversation was whites' actions any more disrespectful than the general behavior in the political culture or the electorate culture? I don't see what he did as being outside of the norm for what people think is acceptable during campaign time. Now, do I think he should have done it? No. I think there needs to be reform in the entire electoral space, right? And I don't think anybody should do it. But to single him out to say that this is an indication of like some racism or disrespect for Bahamians, I think that's foolish.
That's what, and I don't see nothing wrong with it. Matter of fact, I would join him in white bed. Go to, let me give you a good example. You remember, I remember, and that's an old soldier and January election. I'm 63. We used to take the FLM shades. We used to save the PLB shade, all the shades.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were ready to wash our cars, they were the best cars, the best shade to wash your cars down with. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I had
your floors a day.
I had an experience on the other side of the floor, right? Where I think it was remember when Fred Mitchell had the beeper holder and the cell phone holder for your belt with the under the sea theme on it?
Yeah.
That election, I captured a couple of pieces of paraphernalia and merchandise, right? And I went back to my neighborhood that is predominantly FNM. And little did I know that there was an embargo. There were strict restrictions on what type of paraphernalia could enter that part of the community I was in. And they did mash up my things.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I was very upset. So for me, I think that action is disrespectful, whoever does it. And it's problematic for the electoral culture and for the future, right? Like, there's a slippery slope there.
I didn't look at it funny. I mean, you got our sense of humor. Election is humorous. I mean...
No. So elections is what?
Me that would have been funny. Me that would have been disrespectful if a face was on the poster. My face or your face, and he wipe his feet on it. Well, that's a sign.
No, I don't think that's the standard. I don't think that's the standard. I don't think a face on the poster warrants, right, like different treatment of the poster. Because here's my next point, right? We also have to juxtapose to this action of him mashing down the poster that was already on the ground, right? I've heard individuals say that FNM group was perhaps the last group to pass the poster on the ground. The person indicated or suggested that PLP saw their own poster on the ground and didn't bother to pick it up.
That's literal.
Okay, so here's my thing. This is what I wanted to say next, is that considering the actual lack of concern that political parties have for their paraphernalia after the election, who cares? Who cares that Adrian White mashed down the poster? You all don't care about your posters.
No one cares when the dog urinate on Marvin Dean
poster. So I'm saying, thank you, Pumpkin Eater. Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you for walking down that road with me. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Erin. Good morning, Bahamas.
Morning. So how you doing?
I'm doing great, ma'am. Erin, I don't see anything wrong with what was done. This is the silly season. And I was seeing dogs dressed up over the years in paraphernalia. We have seen it. I guess he's taking more flack because he is a white Bahamian.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen worse, over the years. And I don't expect anything different outside or, of the silly season or during the silly season. You'll see lots more. Remember, Keith Bell indicated it's going to be a nasty election.
Mm-hmm. So you have garbage can.
Exactly. But if I may, Erin, in reference, I could comment on that taxi situation.
Yeah, man, we could make a transition.
Yeah. I don't see any. I was basically taken aback, because firstly, Erin, these tourists come here on vacation, and I'm sure they don't factor these type of things in outside, during their vacation. And we are supposed to enhance it as opposed to interrupting it, firstly. Now, Dwight covered a whole lot of areas that is plaguing the taxi service. You have scores of Bahamians on a daily basis who can't get their local services. They transition into the tourism sector, and for whatever reason, the money seems to be more pricey or whatever it is for them to just abandon the local market. Some of them still do it, but generally when we grew up here and we had meter cab and we had union cab, I still remember the numbers, the 34555 35111. I still remember those numbers. But you have scores of Bahamian women in particular. After a long day's work, late into the evening, they can't get proper taxi service. And it just boggles my mind to see that you have a big, lucrative market, but the taxi drivers just don't want to bother with it. And what makes this thing even more concerning is that you have many business, Erin, but yet they still have to park their cars at night because they want to be first out to get the services.
So hold on. So you're telling me they leave the car on the taxi line and park it there for the evening, so that in the morning they're first to go out?
Sometimes as early as 6 o'clock in the evening, you'll get there first, which makes no sense to me, because if you're in the taxi business or if you're in the tourism market, Erin, there's something that is known as repeat business. How could you be in the business for that long and you're not getting any repeat business? It says a lot to that individual in terms of the type of service that they're providing, because I had a short stint in it in the restaurant, and I was able to get a lot of repeat business. People came in, said, well, someone referred them, etc. But some taxi drivers just don't get repeat business. So they have to park their van at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and just going after this.
And rely on the rotation system.
Just on the tourism market, when the Bahamian market, and the government has to take some responsibility for it over the years, Erin, because everybody knows when you look at the ratio for taxi versus what tourists come here, we are oversaturated with taxi drivers.
Now, with plates or with actual driving, with the capacity to pick up?
But I don't know how much plates are active, because I heard the minister spoke about it, But I wouldn't be surprised if we have about 2,000 taxi plates functioning on this 21/7 island.
Whew. Anyway, listen.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's a huge number.
It is.
I stay trying to get people from road traffic to come on, but don't watch nothing. I got 2 more callers. I want to thank you for the call, and we're going to get back to that subject. Let's see what these guys want to talk about on the next call. Producer, I'm going to hang that one up. Let's go. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. And good morning to the nation. With regards to the Member of Parliament for St. Anne's and his behavior, listen, when you're in the House of Assembly, when you represent in an entire constituency, which does not just constitute FNMs, it constitutes all Bahamians, apolitical, PLPs, etc., independents, smaller French parties. When you are a representative of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, you are supposed to conduct yourself in a certain way, silly, political season or not. You are to hold yourself to a higher standard of conduct. Conduct was completely unbecoming, especially when you recognize the environment in which you live, where tensions are high in the political season. Not only that, you have an historic perspective as well that can and will come into play. All of those things make for terrible decision making, and to double down on such terrible actions, a terrible public display, that doesn't even bode well if you look at the example that it sets for younger persons in the society.
Absolutely.
That type of disgusting, despicable behavior.
I listen. Hold on.
Be unacceptable.
Hold on. I agree with you. I think, like I said earlier in the conversation with Pumpkin Eater, I think that what he did is par for the course, but I think the course needs to change. Right? Bang. But at the same time, though, Antoine, watch this. Let's compromise. If I bring Adrian White to censure, right? You can bring Keith Bell to censure. Let me read this article. This election is going to be nasty. 20th of October, 2025. With the political season ramping up, Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal Keith Bell said the 2026 general election will be, quote, nasty, close quotes, as he threw shots at the FNM's last stint in office. Quote, this is going to be a nasty election, close quotes, Bell said during a recent PLP men's branch meeting. Quote, I'm going in the garbage can. I'm going to get some stuff out Bradley Roberts' garbage can. I'm forward thinking, but at the same time, we need to remind some people of some things. Bell openly criticized the FNM's response to Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19 pandemic. See what I'm saying? Like, I will bring White. I know his mother. I'm going to tell his mother we got some place to go. She coming too, though, because, you know, she don't play. But you bring Bell, okay? You bring Bell.
But Erin, let me say this before you cut me, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you just read regards to Minister Bell,
Mm-hmm.
it's in no way, shape, or form comparable to the actions.
Antoine, I'm going to cut you right now. I'm going to cut you right now. Again, let's prep the next caller. The behavior is intolerable across the board. It's not a partisan critique. It's non-partisan. It's a political critique. The entire political culture and electoral culture needs to change. Right? That's the right position. Everybody. Every party needs to shut down the war rooms. Brave Davis, shut down the war rooms. You know what I'm saying? Just shut them down. Here's another quote. I come to you right now, caller. Davis vows, I'll cut off heads to save party. Nassau Tribune, 10th of October, 2017. Interim PLP leader Philip Brave Davis has vowed to, quote, cut the heads off, close quotes, anyone in the PLP who stands in the way of the party's growth and progress. Growth and progress in quotes. End quote. I just saying, let's shut down all war rooms. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You still there?
Ms. Greene.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yes. Firstly, let me comment on the gentleman that called before Antoine about the taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Greene, if I was driving a taxi, I used to be a public service driver, but I used to be in the jitney business. If I was driving a taxi, every tourist that comes into my car, when they leave the Bahamas and they are coming back, they will call me at least 2 days in advance and tell me they're coming on, which day they're coming.
Mm-hmm. Make arrangements.
If their family members in Nassau, they will ask for me. That's the type of service I'll give in a taxi.
Cousin, if I was able to capture Una Hasty old plate, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs would write me and tell me, Miss Greene, look here, you can't just be inviting kings and queens to use your taxi service when they're in the Bahamas.
No, but see, what we do, I have challenges now at my eyes, but before I had these challenges, the way I see some taxi drivers presenting themselves into the airport is unbecoming, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not all, You get some professionals. You get some of them coming out there in their big Nike slippers. They pants. They shadow their pants. Hey, come on, man. You're the first to find the tourists walk off that plane and walk to that airport. You're the first land person they going to get to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That experience alone. But let me say something on the Adrian White situation.
Yes, sir.
This is not Mr. White's first time. When he made the quote about the people in Angleston, he said some very unfavorable things about the people in Angleston. There's the only people remember when the PLP only won one seat in Nassau? It was Angleston, and what he said about the people in Angleston, Now he came back and apologized. Play like he apologized. He said what he had to say. All right. Now he came back with this again. This, to me, in a political season, it gives me a feeling like he don't appreciate people of color. Let me say it like that. But a lot of people would say, well, his this and his that is a person of color. But we have people of color don't like people of color, you know. And finally, this Dr. Falk situation with his office again.
Yes, sir.
I am glad now that they caught the bandit. I would put some, can I say penis over the radio?
No, I mean, you said it, but yeah, whatever it is, don't say it again.
Okay, I would squeeze something on him until he talk.
That's torture. If you could ask it.
I know because we have to know.
Okay, let me rephrase. Hold on. Let me rephrase it. Right? That this isn't just an ordinary break-in. This is now entered into the realm of politics, right? And so we must ensure. See, that's I like the connection. I'm not gonna cut you. Hold on, but the producer gonna cut both us. Let me make this connection, right? With Adrian White on the post and the breaking into this political candidate's office twice now.
Yeah.
Right? That we critique Adrian White's behavior because we must ensure that violence does not escalate in our politics, that our politics does not become violent like Jamaica's politics once was.
Afraid of.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm afraid of, Ms. Greene.
I got you.
Let me say this in closing.
Okay.
I am hoping that politics is a game of strategy. I am just hoping now this thing with Mr. Falk wasn't being put on for sympathy.
I got you. That we don't want it to be a hoax for sympathy and attention, but at the same time, we need to discourage and let people know because we cannot infect our politics with this type of violence. Thank you very much. Caller, listen, we got to go to a break and then I'm going to get to the text. And I can read some quotes from these articles. Caller, I see you, and I'll talk to you on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Guardian Radio 96.9 FM on the clock. We'll be right back.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
No, babe, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Wait, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know, Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and these boys coming for me next.
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I boy?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
You try to rest it best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity.
We're good for you.
At Cleveland Clinic, you set your course, not cancer. So when your journey takes an unexpected turn, you seek out the experts who've conquered it before, and you forge new paths to help fight cancers. For every route to a cure, for every care in the world. See how we're innovating cancer care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Johnny Cash. She got a man for her nails, a man for her toes, a man for her hair, a man for her clothes. Got a man she could call to give a little peace. She even got a man who is sing. She got a man for everything. Ooh, but this got his problems. She got a man she could call anytime if she need a couple of dollars.
Welcome back to On the Clock with Una Hasty Greene. We were talking drivers police clash. If y'all don't know who Una Hasty is, she's one of the first, if not the first woman to hold a taxi plate in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. All right, I got a text here that says, coming to you in the second caller. Let's prep that caller. Please tell Anton he need to pass that message on to the PLP chairman who cursed on stage in front of children and on video when he said that something was coming in Fox Hill. That's why I played that song just now, Man for Everything by Johnny Cake. It's his latest release. Because if I were Fred Mitchell, I wasn't going to cuss on stage. That's unbecoming of an MP, of a chairman of a party, and of a minister of foreign affairs. It's unbecoming, right? But I would have played the song. I would have played the song, and then you would have had to ask me what I mean by that when I play that song. All right, here's another text. I had to laugh at Mr. Drama's characterization of Adrian White's Engliston remarks as extremely offensive. I always note when people make such characterizations but never say what was actually said. The gossip about the remark then becomes a narrative. So I looked it up. The statement was, quote, sensible voters vote FNM. Well, if you, close quotes, well, if you're going to vote FNM, you probably agree. If you're going to vote PLP or otherwise, you'd likely carry on. I got you, text. I got you. Let's go to the phone line.
Good morning to all.
Morning.
Yes, you know, what's going on? From listening to the show, right? You know, seems like all the PLP supporters against the taxi drivers striking or you know, demonstrating. But they got to remember that that's the way, that's how they came to power. Majority rule, you know, and God bless the taxi drivers. Our taxi drivers, if they was some other private entity, they wouldn't have no power. You know, like, you know, they like the government employers or you know, public servants. Only them could strike. Only them got power.
So, okay, you know? I appreciate the point that you're making, right? That we need a sense of time and place, right? So we could understand that, like the unions, right? Because it's a taxi union, the taxi cab union, like there's an inextricable relationship. The taxi cab union is historically extremely powerful, and there's a word I want to use, but I can't find it. A part of this move to majority rule and to independence. Here's a question I have for you quickly before we go to the next two callers. Does the taxi cab union, as it stands today, as it operates today, does it still have that same capacity and power? Right.
Sure, because of the industry and because of the industry they work in.
Man, look here, I feel you. Hold on.
You know,
I feel you, right? But at the same time, let me just read this quote quickly so we could get the context. Hold on.
Could you imagine all hotel workers are striking, getting together and strike for what they want? It'd be the same thing.
Hold on. Taxi chief. See, for me, the taxi cab drivers striking doesn't affect me because taxi cab drivers don't pick me up. That's not all, but generally, right? Taxi chief, 800 plate recall, kind of ironic. The new president of the union, Tyrone Butler, is quoted as saying, quote, the union would be comfortable sitting down with the government and coming up with a more strategic plan on when plates are going to be issued. But more importantly, we'd like to start the dialogue with the government on some more prominent programs that are going to help the industry grow. Because right now, this is the part right here, because right now the industry is just loaded up with a bunch of misfit degenerates. That's a quote from the taxi cab union president, right? If the president of the union is saying that the industry is, say not the union, but the industry is just loaded up with a bunch of misfits and degenerates, can the taxi cab union today expect to receive the same deference, reverence, and respect that the taxi cab union would have historically? Let's go to the next caller. Thank you for your contribution, caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Greene.
Morning, sir.
If these taxi drivers want to be truthful, all the Bahamian taxi drivers stop driving. They lease no these plate to these Haitians. If you go by the airport, you go anywhere where these taxi drivers is. Only Haitians driving, ain't no more Bahamians driving them bus, and they know that. They could be honest. They need to be honest, and that's why the government should not even be checking for them. A bunch of them is just Haitians.
Now, when you say bus, you mean the small taxi bus, right?
The taxi bus, yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You go in the straw market, only Haitians working inside. There ain't no Bahamians working in there no more. And they got to be real.
See, because I was going to say, I believe when Pinland said, if you want your country, you have to fight for it. You have to fight for all the jobs. Like
not them Bahamians. Not them Bahamians. Them Bahamians give up on the Bahamas, man. And then they won't blame the government. Everything is just cheap labor, and they got to just be real.
I got you. I feel you. I think it's an important question to query. Right? What is happening in this? Are people just trying to create fiefdoms and kingdoms? Right? Like, I don't want to do the work. I just want a mechanism where I could generate money without doing the work. Let's go to that next caller, and then we're going to get to the text. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You still there? Did I miss you? I know sometimes there's a delay. Listen, we got about 10 minutes left. I'm coming to you right now, caller. Let's prep that caller. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. 242-300-5720. Toll-free Family Island listeners, that's your number. Text line 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I just want to make 2 points, but two points in two topics you have.
Yes, sir.
For one thing, the taxi drivers, there's like the Bahamian people support, right? But they stopped checking for Bahamians a long time. You can't call a taxi driver or stop a taxi and tell you to go over the hill somewhere or you whatever. Like, they don't check for Bahamians. They put all their they put all their eggs in the tourist basket, and now they kind of want Bahamians to support them. That don't make no sense.
Okay, now,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. Let me ask you a quick question, right? Now, the new president of the taxi cab union, Butler, said, hey, Minister of Transport, if you are recalling 783 plates, right? The union humbly, that you allocate some of those plates to the union so that the union can begin organizing and strategizing local routes service specifically for locals in designated areas.
But see, that's not a problem too, because a lot of taxi plates, people get taxi plates because of friends, family, lovers, or connections to politicians, and then they release the taxi plate out to other people. A lot of taxi plates, I feel, if you're not using that taxi plate, you should turn it back in and let someone else who would use it.
So let's legislate that. To hold a taxi plate, you must be the person operating the taxi service.
Or have a large section of the plates for that, just for that.
Okay, I got you. So some people are suggesting that there are people who have multiple plates and are operating a franchise service without a franchise authorization.
Yes, and that's where the friends, family, lovers, and I know this MP or whatever comes into play.
I got you.
Now, on my next point, Erin.
Yes.
It frustrates me to hell when I hear PLP operatives, and I call a lot of them PLP prostitutes, or not just PLP prostitutes, but political prostitutes, who basically are being funded by a particular party. And they're making a big deal out of this Adrian Gibson thing, right?
Adrian White, yeah.
Adrian White thing. But Adrian Gibson's another thing, because that case seems like it's never going to finish. But let's not even get into that. But this Adrian White thing, right? If that was a PLP person that did that, they would not give two hoots. And they would be defending that person to the hills. But because it's a FNM, they're like, oh, it's such a big...
But I could double down.
It's like, oh, he's a racist, and he's a this, and Listen. It's not that big of a deal. It's not a good thing to happen, right? But at the same time, come on, man. Let's not try to say, oh, the man is a racist and this is a detriment to society. And listen, if they want to fight for something, fight for Freedom of Information Act. That's what they need to fight for. Speak on why the hospital is such in disarray. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop making a mountain over a molehill just for political points. Be nationalist and try to use your influence within the PLP party or the FNM party to better the country.
Yes, sir.
We all see that they viewpoint a mile away. Oh, he's a racist because he wiped his foot on it. Come on, man. You old enough that I always remember a lot of PLPs and FNMs played way more silly games than that. Remember when the PLP was taking down the FNM signs? Not everything was there. FNM was taking down the PLP signs or whatever. When they're coming to murder rate. Like,
yeah.
Listen, it's not that big of a deal. And we need to focus on the issues. And I urge political prostitutes, please.
Thank you.
Fight for justice in the country for all, not just your political,
I mean, caller, thank you very much, caller. Thank you. And I don't want to say just because we agree on some points, but I think it's a sound message, right? Let's refuse to accept certain types of language. Let's refuse to accept politicians telling us this is the silly season. Because all that is them justifying their behavior, trying to excuse what it is that they are endorsing. All right, here's a text. Erin, do these people sit back and take note of the wordings used when it comes to elections and government? And I want you all to know I didn't even read this text before I said what I said. Silly season sounds so disingenuous, and it's like they think this is a game. But they're playing with our livelihood and our future. But I hope the politrickers know we are done with ping pong. Game over. Anton needs to pay for his advertisement of the PLP since others can't express our support for change. Okay, listen, I tell all people, if you're a known affiliate, a known unofficial spokesperson for a party, and you want to call in and say something, you can't call in and make a press statement. But if you're willing to have what you have said interrogated, right, then we could continue the conversation. Let's go to a couple more texts. Erin, I like that callers point about fighting for a national issue. We have rats allegedly and PMH nibbling on people, eating people alive in the bed, and we're focusing on a poster. Come on. No, listen, this conversation is equally important because we must ensure that we are not heading in the direction that Jamaica was. It's taken a couple decades, for Jamaica to correct. We have the model examples, the warnings, the cautionary tales. We don't need to make that mistake. It's a very important conversation, but I agree with you, and I'm going to get to that story in my last 2 minutes. Plate holders hire Haitians to use their plates. Here we go. Well, Miss Greene, what is very offensive to me is our Prime Minister, hand in hand with Louis Georges, a Haitian who trashed the Bahamas and the Bahamian people. What's more offensive than that? My eyes are open. I could tell you what's more offensive than that in a heartbeat. But let's start here. Louis Georges is a Bahamian of Haitian descent, right? His nationality, Bahamian Haitian descent, right? That's what he is. Bang. Let's get that right. Nationality and ethnicity and race are all different things. Nationality, ethnicity, or ancestry and race, the three are different. See, because you could be a Bahamian national, right? You could be mixed race, and you could be ethnically Chinese, right? You could be like Han people. See, we don't even talk. Nationality has bastardized our thinking, has socialized us into a way of seeing and categorizing people nationalism. Because when you go to China, right, then you realize that there's scores of ethnic groups in China, right? And that in China, people also identify through ethnicity. All important conversations. Here's a text. I wonder if Adrian White is racist enough to hate his black wife and children. I call BS to the PLP desperados. Like I said, nothing that Adrian did is outside of the norm for the political culture. Nothing that he did is outside the norm. Here's, I guess, the story from last week. that is very important. We know that the nurse, if we look at today's Tribune, suspended nurse who exposed poor conditions at PMH has, quote, no plans, close quotes, to pursue legal action. A senior nurse suspended after publicly exposing deteriorating conditions at PMH said yesterday she has no plans to pursue legal action but hopes authorities will address the, quote, serious concerns she raised. Pearl Williams, a 44-year veteran of the nursing profession, said she wants Bahamians to one day, quote, access care in a safer environment, close quotes. And that takes me to this headline from Friday in the Tribune. Bahamas Nurses Union chief expresses concerns over retention as 50 nurses have left over last 4 months. About 50 nurses have left the public healthcare system over the last 3 to 4 months as the union pushes for more benefits to improve nurse retention, according to BNU President Muriel Lightburn. Ms. Lightburn did not specify what the union is seeking to include in its new industrial agreement, but said she remained hopeful the government will meet their demands. The last industrial agreement was signed in 2022 and ended in October, following an earlier deal in 2020. The BNU president also highlighted ongoing delays in promotions and confirmations within the public healthcare system. Ms. Lightburn pointed to the acting director of nursing as an example who has been in the post for more than 9 months without confirmation. Ms. Lightburn, adding to these frustrations, Ms. Lightburn said about 24 nurses are still waiting. 24 nurses are still waiting to be confirmed and appointed. See, you don't have to believe the nurse right? You don't have to believe what the nurse said if you don't want to, right? If, because somehow the nurse breached some rule or regulation of the PHA, the Public Health Authority, right? If she did, and now whatever emanated from her is no longer admissible in a court of law, let the facts left over the last 3 to 4 months suggest to you the deeper inquiry is required. That's all. I was recently being tended to in the public healthcare system, and let me say, you know, sometimes I encounter people who are obviously frustrated, but guess what? Working in that system must be frustrating, hey? It must be. Big up all the nurses, all the healthcare workers, the technicians, the doctors, the janitorial staff, the culinary staff. Big up all the people who have to deal with bedpans every day. We're going to keep talking about it. I don't know. Big up Miss Pearl Williams. Maybe tomorrow I could be Pearl too. We'll see. Text, I get one last text. I think I'm all out of time. What if every taxi driver was to quit? This country won't miss a beat. Maybe we'll get public transportation. Good morning, Ms. Greene. Has Clint Watson resigned from his position at the BCB because I see him actively campaigning? Well, listen, just as we go, apparently you have until you have been nominated, right? The law gives you up to the point where you have been nominated. However, I would imagine that the Westminster system suggests that you resign out of honor to show the people that you understand what it means to be an or lady. We're all out of time. You've been on the clock with Una Hasty Greene. Stay tuned. Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Nuri is up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.